Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another pick a card reading. This one is what is your life's purpose? And I also want to say a lot of you commented saying that you guys want to see my face in these videos. So now we're doing it so you guys can see my face, even though I don't know if it's like still easy to pick the cards, if you guys can still see them well enough. So let me know if this angle and stuff is good for you guys. Let me know, because I am open to changing it back to the old way if it's not. And then also, one of you suggested putting crystals on top of the cards to help guide your energy towards what card that you want to pick. So if you're finding it difficult to pick a card, you can look at the crystals and pick it that way. I kind of just intuitively place them on the cards because I have no idea what any of these piles are under here at the moment. So I was just like, where would I put this crystal? What pile says that crystal? So I kind of just intuitively place them, but if you guys don't like picking them with the crystals, just kind of like try to block out the crystals, I guess, and just look at the card and just feel what you're drawn to. Don't necessarily pick the card because you think that the crystal is pretty. Pick it because you actually feel drawn to it. Like your gut is just telling you that one, because I know I've watched a couple of these where there'd be crystals on the cards and I would pick the pile just because I thought the crystal was pretty, but then intuitively my gut was like trying to pick a different pile that I wasn't as attracted to the crystal, and then I ended up watching both of them, and then the one that I picked just because the crystal was pretty ended up not being like accurate for me, and then the other one was accurate. So find out what works best for you. Everyone is different. So if you're attracted to two different ones, I guess watch them both and find out which one is the most accurate, and then that'll tell you whether to pick based on the crystal or based on the actual card that's like shouting out to you. Also, I decided to pull out a general reading as well. I kind of had this idea to do like a little general reading before doing these readings, like an overall reading for everybody, to kind of like add some positivity and encouragement on the overall energy about how you can find your life purpose and what all of our lives' purposes are. And I plan on doing this for every video because I think it's really cool just to give like an overall inspiring message. And so I also made a seventh pile, and this is for everybody. So I'm going to read it in the beginning and then we'll get into these. So the first card that we have is the Emperor. And so I really believe that all of our life purposes, like we are the master creators of our lives' purposes. And so the Emperor, he like sits on his throne, he commands his whole kingdom. And so we need to look at our lives from a place of, you know, being the king or queen on the throne of our own life path, you know, and take control of it and believe you have control over it. I know a lot of us believe in higher powers and stuff, which is totally cool. And I believe in higher powers as well, but we can also control our own lives. Nobody has control over our own lives. I don't even believe that higher powers directly have 100% control over us. I believe that we are also our own divine creators, you know, because we're part of a whole collective consciousness and all that kind of stuff. So be the king and queen of your throne and lead. It's about leading and saying what you want and just going for it because you know that you deserve that and because we're our own creators. The next card that we have is Dawn, New Beginning. So if anything, if you take anything from this video, it's start on a new beginning, a fresh mind frame of knowing that you're in control of your life path and that you're the Emperor. Okay, so go on this new beginning as the king or queen of your throne, command that kingdom and make anything happen. The next card that we have is Protection. Call back your power, cut the cords. And so if you have left your energy in an old relationship or an old job or just negative mind frames that kind of hold you back, cut the cords to those. No longer bring those with you. If you believe that somebody else is totally in control of your destiny, cut that cord and know that, you know, maybe we have these outer forces, because we do, but we are also here as well with our own power, and we can control that power and create with that power as well. And so cut cords to old ties, call back your power, call back your energy. If you've ever had a friend or have had a type of relationship where somebody was stealing your energy a lot and kind of like using you, call back your energy, call back your power because it's yours, and cut those cords to those old things so that you're not wasting energy on old things that you were once tied to. The next card that we have is take time to breathe out, the disseminating moon. So you don't have to rush anything. Everything's divine timing. And so it's about taking time to come at things from a good space. So take time to meditate, breathe out, take time to relax. Don't do anything when you're in a crazed out kind of state, because then our energy is disorganized and scattered. So we want to bring it back together, cut the old cords, take some deep breaths, and recenter yourself and become, call your energy back into yourself so you can be the most powerful version of yourself. So you can work from your core and work from your soul and be very powerful in your own being. The last card that we have is Mars, Force. And so when I see this card, I don't necessarily look at it as like saying be forceful about anything, but Mars is the planet of like war and all these kind of things. It's ruled by like Aries and also by Scorpio as well. So when I see Mars, personally, what I think is somebody very powerful, like a warrior. And so if we're going to be the king or queen of our throne, we also have to have our army of energy that goes and gets what we want. It doesn't mean forcefully go take it from other people or anything like that. How you rule your kingdom is up to you, but as long as you have, your kingdom, your power, and you have your knights in shining armor or knightresses, I don't know. Is there a word for a female knight? I don't know. We're gonna make one up right now. So, have your little army of like beautiful knights or knightresses and go out and conquer your goals and your dreams, but do it in a productive way. There's a productive way to conquer and a non-productive way to conquer, and I'm sure we all know the difference. So with that being said, let's hop right into this reading right here that is more specific to your specific life purpose. If you're new to these videos, I just want to quickly mention how this works. So this is a pick a card reading. Look at these cards, find out which one you're drawn to. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, pile number 5, and pile number 6. So once you've picked your pile, you can even pause the video if you need time to think about what pile you want to pick. And then in the description box, I'll have timestamps linked down below where you can go and watch specifically your part on what that card means. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. So pile number 1, this is green goldstone. It's really pretty. Let's find out what your life purpose is. These are some good cards. Okay, so when I look at all of these cards together, I really feel like your life purpose is knowledge, life experience, that kind of stuff. Like when I see the Hierophant's kind of all about gaining knowledge from like lifetimes. And we also have the Ancestors Generations card. And so I feel like you're an old soul and you're also learning stuff from your ancestors. You might have ancestors that are your guides this lifetime, and you might find yourself being really attracted to learning about history, learning about old cultures, and even today's culture as well. So you might be really interested in politics and that kind of stuff, and also like really old history and just like gaining knowledge through a lot of different outlets. And so you might find yourself really like researching stuff late at night or like watching films talking about history and all that kind of stuff. Also with the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like, your whole life purpose is a little bit up to you. It's like you have one of those life paths where you came here with more of an open sense to what your actual purpose was. Because the Wheel of Fortune, you have so many different like points on the wheel that you could land on, and you get to choose what it is. So really with the law of attraction, you could attract any sort of life you really want for you, especially with the nothing is yet set in stone immutable moon card as well. With the Wheel of Fortune, those two cards definitely scream out to me that you didn't come here with a very specific purpose to be like, I'm gonna have exactly this job and I'm gonna accomplish exactly this. Like you have a lot of things that you can accomplish. You have a lot of different things that you could go for and go towards. But I think one thing that you are learning in this lifetime, and one purpose you do have to learn with this free spirit type of vibe here, is the earth element of stability. And so somehow you're gonna have to learn how to be stable in this and to not be like too wild and free, and to actually find something that to find somewhere where you do belong. Instead of living life in every single direction, it's about kind of finding a way to define it into kind of one whole type of purpose. You can still do lots of different things and have one purpose, but it's about mastering something, because if you live in so many different directions and you have so many options, especially like being a soul that has come into this earth with an open option, it's very difficult to find your specific path. I am a person who struggles with that specifically to myself, because I feel like I'm actually one of those souls too. And this is the pile that I actually was personally drawn to when I was like shuffling these cards. And it's so funny. This is like, I feel like I could say so much about this because this has been my struggle. But it's like your soul has come into this earth with just like open arms, basically. Like your thing is up to you. And so you might notice you're attracted to so many different things. You love learning about new different things. Anytime somebody says something new, it's like, oh, that's exciting. I've never tried that before. Let's do it. And then the next week you're just like, okay, I'm kind of bored with that. I've learned a lot about that. What's the next thing? And so that's such a beautiful thing, but it's like you'll never actually fully be able to master something, because to master something, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy to put into that one thing. And so with this, it's like asking to find that stability, find that one thing that calls to you the most, because there will be things. I mean, in your past lives, you've probably tried almost anything and everything. That's why you're naturally good at pretty much anything that you do, is because you've done it all in your past lives. And that's like a great thing, but you need to find something this life that you're like really called to. And the great thing about this pile is that you can pick what it is. It doesn't have to be anything like super like you didn't come here. What I'm trying to say like is that you don't have to pick it in like a certain field. It can be in any field you want it to be, but what are you most called to? But you do need to find that stability this lifetime. You might also, with the Hierophant always tries to be societally correct. So you might find yourself wanting to, fit in with society and do things that fit in with society. So maybe doing something along the lines of that might help you out a lot, even though you might have these quirky sides that don't also fit along with society, but part of you wants to try and like fit in. With the Two of Cups, it also says that you might have help through other people. So you might work well when you have kind of the offerings and help of other people. It also could be that you naturally help other people very well. And so your life purpose, when you're trying to find it, think about how you can help other people. You might be naturally really good at helping other people because you've had a lot of past life experience and you've dabbled in a lot of different things. So when you have to help somebody, it's like you can see things from so many different perspectives just because you've had your hands wet in almost every puddle. So your life purpose might be about helping people, but you also have to remember to rest and refuel when you're helping people. So definitely keep that in mind as well. But if you have like a struggle trying to find your life purpose, just know that you should be somehow inspiring people, offering some kind of help to people. So keep that in mind, because I think that's where you'll find your biggest fulfillments. So pile number 2, let's find out what is going on with you. Ooh. So this is a really cool pile. I'm excited to share this one. By the way, I'm not sure if I remember what the stone is. I'm pretty sure it's Amazonite or like some kind of really potent aquamarine. I honestly forgot. I don't know. I can't remember. There's a lot of stones I have in my collection that look like this, and I can't remember what that one specifically was. It's an unknown one. So you pick the unknown stone pile, unless you guys know specifically what this is just by looking at it. I don't know. So this is a really cool pile. We have the Ace of Cups, the 4 of Cups, and the 10 of Pentacles. And a lot of these other cards are really, really, really cool. I think you came to this world to achieve a lot. I think you came here to achieve a lot emotionally and a lot like physically with the material world. I also believe you came here to kind of restructure the way that society is, because I feel like you came here with humongous dreams and aspirations, like huge, like out of this world type of things. And we have 2 cards here. We have the Pisces card that says, I believe, and then we have the Blue Moon card that says, believe in the impossible. So 2 belief cards, which I really think talks about like breaking the societal like rules of do something that's realistic. So you might be getting told that a lot in your life. You might also feel like the realistic stuff is boring. It just doesn't fulfill you somehow. It's like when you think about it, it's like, what, really? That doesn't correlate with me at all. You want the most powerful, strongest love. You get bored with the average stuff in life, and you want to create the most beautiful abundance, and you want to share it with people. It's like when you create this massive abundance, you want to be able to show it to people and be like, look what I did. Because you want to somehow prove to society that the impossible is totally possible. It's like you're almost confused why people don't reach for higher. You almost look at people like, what are you doing? Don't you know what is possible? Like, you're the one that's crazy living this average life. It's kind of like looking at people and thinking that. But then we also have the card that says boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So when I see that, I really think that your life kind of lesson is to also establish boundaries. Yes, the impossible is totally possible, but I think the universe is also trying to show you, especially with the Four of Cups card, that disappointment can happen when you don't have set boundaries. Because yes, the impossible is possible. We can totally create and have anything. But make sure your dreams are at least a little bit realistic, and that you're not trying to like have like total crazy, like I'm gonna live on Mars by the end of it. Like set certain boundaries that you can actually accomplish what you set out to accomplish. Like start off with things that you know you can accomplish, even if they're like seemingly out of this world, but you believe that it's like totally accomplishable. Don't reach your hand out too far. Like, of course, my arm is this long and I could go grab this crystal or that candle or whatever I want to grab. I can't reach it all the way into my kitchen though and grab a snack real quick because my arm's just not physically that long. And so we do live in a physical world, so make sure that you're actually like having these boundaries, knowing what you can reach. Your arm is way longer than everybody else's. Actually, all of our arms are the same length, but it's like most people only see this far. It's like they have like farsightedness or nearsightedness or whatever it is. I always get confused which one is which, but when they can only see like what's closer to them. And then so it's like they don't see the rest of it. You're the person that actually sees how long you really can reach. But make sure that you're not overextending that and imagining that it's longer than it actually is. Set some certain types of boundaries. And then, of course, with some good exercise, maybe that arm can get even longer, or you're going to get one of those, like, what are those grabber things or whatever that you can, like, those, like, arm extenders and you can pick up stuff with them. Maybe you can attain one of those in a couple years and reach to even farther things. You know what I mean? But always start off with things that, you know, are within a good boundary, that you're not all of a sudden like spreading out your energy into all of these different things and it's too much, you know, because we can accidentally create a little bit too much without realizing it, and then it's too much for us to handle right away instead of just exercising ourselves and working up to that point. If we get it all way too quick, it can be too much too quick, and we don't know exactly how to handle it yet because we haven't had the practice. The next card is music, harmony. And so I feel like your whole thing is kind of creating a really harmonious balance and kind of breaking the rules of society, but to do it in a harmonious way where you encourage and inspire others while doing it. It's not in a way of trying to make people jealous of you or anything like that. It's more of like be inspiring and kind of create that harmony and then show the world what actually is possible, that kind of stuff. I feel like you're here to create a lot and you are a huge manifester, but it's about spreading that happiness and spreading the actual happiness, not spreading anything other than that kind of stuff. You might also be an indigo child because there's like a lot of deep blue here, and the indigo children are like the boundary breakers, so the rule breaker. So break the rules of society that say you can't do this or you can't do that. Like, you're here to create a wild good time. So do that. All right, so pile number 3. Let's find out what your life purpose is. Oh my God, we're having such good piles. I'm loving this. All right, totally had to restart the camera there. It always, after like a certain amount of time, it will cut out and stop filming. It's like, why you do that? So, pile number 3. I really think your life purpose we've been having really good life purposes so far. I'm like really pleased with this. I would have been pleased with any pile if I picked any of these. So your life purpose is really positive. Like, you are a naturally optimistic, really amazing person. And I think your life purpose is, you know, no matter what kind of things come your way, because the Chariot is the card that can go, it can be pushed and pulled in any direction while you're traveling. And so it can even deal with traveling. So your life purpose might include traveling, just saying. But it's a card that you can be pushed and pulled into two different directions. And sometimes you don't know which way is the right way. And sometimes you might choose the less desirable way and go through something, you know, a little bit harsh, a little bit crazy, like a hard situation. But with that, I feel like your purpose is to actually like maybe go through certain situations and certain experiences to find the positivity in all these different things, because we have the Sun card and we also have the Page of Cups. So it's like saying like, look at it from different perspectives. What kind of perspective do you want to look at it? The Page of Cups, he literally has a fish coming out of a cup. And so a lot of people would look at him and be like, you're a little quirky, a little bit funny. But it's like you have this quirky, funny side because you radiate this positive energy, and you radiate that positive energy no matter what's going on, no matter what situation you're going through. And then we also have the South Node card that says, don't let your past hold you back. And so you might have been through some certain challenges in your life that now it's about letting all that stuff go. Don't hold yourself in the past. It's talking about the Chariot. Move forward. The Sun. Find the positivity in these things. It's about finding the positivity no matter what life's going to throw at you, because we're all walking down certain paths, and obviously we can create the path, or we can choose to walk around certain obstacles, because obstacles will show up. And sometimes we're walking through the obstacle because we're not looking and noticing that there's an obstacle in front of us, and we kind of walk into it blindly because we're off looking at the beautiful flowers on the side of the path. So we can accidentally walk into certain situations without even like realizing it. Sometimes our gut's telling us like, hey, you better take a look at the path again because maybe there's something that we're about to step into, but you're like, oh, those flowers though, they're so nice. And then we end up falling into the hole. It's life. Life happens, but it's about realizing the beauty of it, because maybe you fell into this hole and then now you're waiting here a few extra days, and all of a sudden the beautiful, most amazing Prince Charming comes and rescues you, and you would have never met him otherwise. So it's like finding the beauty in even like the unfortunate situations, and realizing that things happen for a reason and they're actually not unfortunate at all. You might notice when you do go through like hard times, for some reason you come out of them with this like weird perspective of like, but it was great, I'm actually glad that that happened. So find that in it. It also talks about the spring equinox rebirth. And so rebirth, don't let your past hold you back. You might have even had a past life where, you know, you had to go through a lot, and now you're being really rewarded this lifetime, and you also just naturally have this sense about you where you find like positivity and you radiate positivity, and you're really good at helping others go through hard times because of your positive outlook on things and your positive feedback and your positive advice. But it's because of what you had to go through in your past life. But also let go of that kind of stuff. Don't let these negative mind frames come in. It's also, you have the card transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So you might also have this healing sense about you. It's about healing yourself as well, healing yourself from the past and from your past karmas and stuff like that. But it's like you're being really rewarded this lifetime, so I really wouldn't worry too much. And we also have the fire element here of desire. So what do you desire this lifetime? What do you want to create? Because you can really create so many different things. Like, you can go about the world having this positive outlook. As long as you're showing the world this positivity behind you, I think you're going to be golden. And it's also about kind of creating these ideas, like your whole life purpose. You might have these quirky ideas that people look at you and they're just like, what? That's a bit weird, because the Page of Cups is, you know, somebody who gets these like ideas that aren't so conventional, that aren't so like heard of and regular. And so I think you also offer a different perspective on things that people don't really look at so often. So like, I would definitely follow your little ideas that might seem kind of like out of the bucket and people might be like, what? But follow them, because somehow it's connected to your life purpose. Follow your desires. Definitely, I think you're here to transform yourself and other people. It's like transforming the world. That is your whole thing. So I would definitely say travel though. Like, I think you're supposed to be a traveler, whether that's small things or big things, but somehow you're supposed to be traveling, because the Sun, the Chariot, those are two cards that can represent travel, and you have both of those. So definitely look into traveling if you haven't already, because I think you're supposed to spread your message like far. So yeah, that is for you. Pile number 3. Oops. Okay, so pile number 4, let's find out what your life purpose is. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so with the Page of Swords being the first card, your life purpose is to kind of like explore the ideas that you get, explore the passions and the creative like spurts that you get, because those will lead you to your life purpose. I feel like, you know, you have a very, very creative mind. You can think about and imagine all these different lives that you could live. Like if, for example, you're driving by some beautiful houses and you can just imagine yourself living in that beautiful place, or you see somebody on social media living like a really fabulous life and you can imagine yourself in that scenario, or other scenarios, like just things that you're attracted to, and you can really have a creative mind about exploring what you could do with that. And it's a very like really powerful mind. But the thing with the Page of Swords is it's like the initiative, like the first single thought. The Page of Swords rarely ever like follows through to the end, because they get distracted easily by the other things that can pop up, the other ideas, like what else could I live? What else could I do? And with the Strength card beside it, it says stick through with it. The Page of Swords also rules like social media and stuff, and so your life purpose might be about like sharing your whole life experience, like on the internet and publicly, and you know, sharing love and all that kind of stuff. But your challenge is not feeling good enough sometimes, and so when you see like all of these other people doing what you might want to do, you all of a sudden are harsher on yourself, because maybe you're not at that level yet, because you're still the page, like you're still at the beginning stages of it. You haven't been doing it for a very long time, so maybe it's not quite as incredibly amazing yet as the other people that you see that are doing the thing that you might want to do. But it's about knowing that you are good enough. And the Strength card is all about patience. And so if you're patient and you just stick with it and you follow through with it every day, no matter how boring it gets, and you just do it and you just do it and you just do it, just because of that deep knowing that you have inside of you, I feel like you do deep down know what you're supposed to do, or at least you have like kind of a calling. Like whenever you see something, it's kind of like you have this like intuitive feeling of like, that's what I'm supposed to do, you know? You are supposed to do it, and you are good enough. It's about knowing that you are good enough and that you're also being divinely guided, because this is the Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. And so I feel like you have guides, angels, all that kind of stuff that are literally by your side helping you, but it's about you sticking through with what you want to do and making it happen every day, sticking with it and telling yourself every day you are good enough, and you will continue to get better at it, and you will be a master at it. But it's about the patience, having the patience and sticking through with it. Even if you don't see results right away, it's like stick with it. I mean, you are the energy of the Page of Swords, which wants to move really fast. They want to see results right away, and when they don't see results like in that minute, they get really disappointed and discouraged. But know that you are good enough and that you can do it, and you're a pure genius. You have the Uranus card of pure genius. Also with Uranus, it's doing things in a different, unexpected way, like an unpredictable way. And so your life purpose might actually be doing something that hasn't been done yet. And finding that might seem like a challenge, but you're also the Page of Swords. Like, your thinking is like out of this world. Like, you can conjure up genius ideas, and you might not even realize it because of the full moon in Virgo. You might be too critical, and you might be a perfectionist, and you don't really like the way something looks because it's not like the master skill set yet that you might be working towards, but you don't have yet. But it's about continuing and having that strength to pull through, and you are being divinely guided. You have the Council of Light beside the Star card. The Star card also deals with, our spirit guides and angels and, people that are watching over us on the other side and stuff like that. So it's also about being divinely guided. It's always about right timing as well. So, the universe perfectly plans things in a way that it won't come to fruition until the right time. Like, flowers won't start blooming in the winter because they're still like in the resting phase. They're gaining energy. In the springtime, that's when the water starts flowing and feeding these seeds that are in the earth. And then they start blossoming once it gets warmer. They don't start blossoming in the winter because then they just die. They don't have the energy, they don't have the strength. There's not enough warmth in the air yet. And so when you're doing your work and like putting in the effort for whatever you want to do in your life, and you don't see results right away, and you're like, I'm just going to throw a random example out there. So whether it just somehow relate it to your life, but for example, I'm here on YouTube, and for a long time I'd be putting out videos and they wouldn't get like a ton of views, but it's about sticking to it, because maybe the universe is still like, well, you need to work on your speech, you need to work on your camera presence, you need to work on this, and you need to work on that before your channel is going to get more views or more subscribers, and your message is going to reach all of these people only when it comes to the point of being something perfect, being something that is supposed to be heard. And so you might be in the winter phase, and you might be that flower that really wants to bloom, but it's like you have to have the patience and you have to wait, because if you try to bloom when it's too early, it's not going to work. So you have to wait till the summer. So have the patience, but keep working on it during that winter phase. The winter phase is the phase of gaining up your energy, learning. It's taking time to learn, and all that kind of stuff, because we want to be inside. And what do we do when we're inside? I don't know. We research things on the internet. We can read books. We can gain knowledge. We can work on our, profession and our goals on a more inner level, and then become to the level where we want to spread it out to the world. And now I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. All right, so that was that phone call, but that is all for you, pile number 4. Just have patience and stick with what you're going for. It's because I feel like you have this intuitive calling, and I feel like deep down inside what you're supposed to be doing, but it's like trusting that you are good enough for what you're being called to and all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, moving on to pile number 5. This is a pyrite stone. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, this was rose quartz, and that was gold stone, but you guys are probably not even watching this video anymore. I'm sorry I didn't mention what your crystal was, but this is pyrite. It's a really amazing stone. So let's find out your life purpose, pile number 5. Okay, immediately what I get from this pile is that you might have some like really deep-seated fears that are brought from maybe past situations or even past lives, but somehow there's like some fears going on because the moon deals with our deep-seated fears. We also have the card that says fog, which is being veiled, and so it's kind of like covering up our vision. We can't really see that much. And we also have the mind card with Mercury. We also have the get grounded card. So we might be like all up in the air and can't really figure stuff out. And so I feel like your life purpose is coming out of that veil. Maybe we like to be in that veil because of it makes us feel protected, and it makes us feel safe. And so we might have certain limitations around what we want to do and who we want to be in this life because because it makes us feel safer, it makes us feel more secure to have certain boundaries up. But it's about breaking those boundaries, you know, like the world isn't that scary. I mean, there's things in this world that can happen that are unfavorable, but we're generally the creators of our universe. You will not create something without you being the creator of it, whether you realize it or not, because we can also be on autopilot and create crappy situations just because of our natural way of thinking. But it's about breaking that way of thinking and breaking that way of doing things and coming at it, leaving that old mindset. Ground yourself more. I think you need to like meditate. When I look at this card, it's a card about meditating and stuff. And so, you know, you're probably an empath, and that's why you're also so guarded, is because you can feel things so deeply. You're highly sensitive, you're very connected to nature, but I think with that, you also guard yourself a lot, because the fact that you can feel things so deeply, it's like you are worried about, you know, picking up on that stuff and it happening to you and all that kind of stuff. But what you need to know is that nothing will come of that. Like, and also nothing will come of your situation if you stay in the fog and if you stay secure. It's about breaking and becoming free and letting your truths out and being vulnerable and showing, you know, your dark sides and coming out. That's your whole life purpose, because you'll realize when you do that, the last card that we have here, because it's about, you know, leaving that situation, moving somewhere else. You also might have to like leave like certain places this lifetime. This card also deals with travel as well. So you might notice that you have to like move around places, you know, maybe get out of the energy that you're currently in somehow. But you'll notice like your life will become so amazing when you get out of this like veiled fog. It's also all about your mind frame. And so ruled by Mercury, I feel like you really need to communicate more and, you know, live from the heart. There's also a lot of yellow here. Yellow is your solar plexus. It's about getting out there. It's about expanding. It's like the yellow card is like that child-like energy. It's like the really like innocent. And so I feel like you're supposed to return to this more innocent energy of having like the optimism and enthusiasm as a child does. And it's about bringing that back and living in that, because the fog has that yellow energy coming out through it and just like coming out of the clouds. So it's like break free from your limitations, break free from your like safe zone and become this childlike creator and create from this excited, like happy place, and do the things that really excite you. Find that excitement again, that anything is possible and that you can do anything and have anything and be anything and dream big and just have no worries. Like children don't have worries. It's like they could go up to anybody and be like, hey, like, how are you doing? I'm just going to say what's on my mind and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to become a fairy when I'm older and I'm going to be just a flying fairy and all that kind of stuff. Like it's like about returning to that kind of like childhood place where anything's possible. Maybe you can't really necessarily be a fairy in your adult life in this world, but it's about having like the innocence of believing that anything is possible. And so if you want to do whatever with your life, like you can do it, you can be it, you can have it, and you're going to live a lot more harmoniously. You're going to have a very happy life. I think you're supposed to have a very happy life, but it's about breaking free from these limiting mind frames, these limiting beliefs. Like that is your life purpose, is to break free from these like inner barriers. It's like you're almost like putting yourself in jail, but you're not supposed to be in that at all. Like break free from that. And I think it's about living from a place of pure joy and pure happiness. Like I feel like everyone's purpose on this earth is to literally experience. I feel like that's our whole reason for being on this planet, is just to experience, and we're allowed to experience all that this world has to offer. It's about what we're being drawn to. And so what are you drawn to? Do you want to create negative experiences? Do you want to create you know, just the experiences that you allow into your like veil, or do you actually want to go and experience all that the world has to offer, like all the good things that the world has to offer? Maybe you don't want to experience everything that the world has to offer, but at least have the desire to experience all of the abundant good things that this world has to offer. But it's about getting grounded and realizing that you're in control of your life and that you can create it to whatever you want to be. Return to that like childhood type of energy and create from that. Also, it's funny that pyrite was your stone, because pyrite's a very masculine stone, but it's a stone about confidence. So I think for you, it's all about doing things from an extremely confident place. Like, work on your confidence and build it up so high that you just know you're in control and you got this and you can do this and you can create anything that you want to create. So yeah, it's also, this card, the Four of Wands, is about family life and stuff like that too. So I think you're supposed to have like this sort of like really well-balanced, good foundation kind of life. And I think that's the beautiful part about you having this natural veil that you put up, is because you like the security and protection. But the Four of Wands talks about you do have security and protection. You have the perfect foundation. And the good thing about you naturally having this is you know what a good foundation looks like. And so go out and create that, but then create the most beautiful, abundant life on top of that. So that's all for you, pile number 5. So pile number 6, let's find out what your life purpose is. This is Argonite, by the way. It's a very amazing quality and amazing, like, just amazing stone in general. All right, so pile number 6, this is what I'm seeing for you guys. So with the Queen of Wands energy, I feel like you have like an abundant energy to create. You have a lot of passion. You have like a lot of fiery energy to make things happen, to do things, to get things done. It's like you want to create this impact. You want to have passion. You want to create all of these good situations and live in a very like fulfilled, really awesome life. With the Ace of Pentacles, it shows that you have the possibility to create so much. Like the Ace of Pentacles, you can create whatever material stuff you want. I feel like it's more of a material card, so I think you came here to learn about creating more material stuff for yourself and doing it from a very passionate, very like awesome place. But with the Seven of Swords that's showing up, it's like, what are we doing with our time? So when I see this card, it has a lot of different meanings, but in this situation, I would say that we need to watch out for people taking advantage of us. I think we have so much creative energy, but when we have all that creative energy, we can notice that other people kind of take advantage of it and kind of use it and all that kind of stuff. And it's also us not valuing our own time. It's like we're giving maybe too much of our time to other people because we don't know what our purpose yet is. And then anybody else who's like living life and doing things, it's like, oh, you need help with that? Like, I got you. I'll totally help you out. But it's not actually like doing anything for you. So maybe you're a person who really likes to help other people, but then we're doing it in neglect of our own time and what we should be doing with our time. Also, what we have here is the building routine card. And so I feel like you need to find a routine, because I think you're really spontaneous, and sometimes like if you're doing something and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, work on my own stuff today and do my own thing and this is the plan, but then some other more fun plan comes up, we drop our own shit at the drop of a hat because something else came up that sounds way funner. With sixth house routine, I feel like it's talking about us making schedules, making plans, and not changing those plans. Even if something more fun pops up, it's like, no, I already made this plan. This is what I'm doing today. This is what's happening. The Queen of Wands is a very spontaneous person. Like anything. Sorry guys, my camera shut off there again. I have to go turn it on. But the Queen of Wands, she's very spontaneous. If anything exciting comes up, she's on it. She's like, I'm there. Like, you're not gonna miss out on that kind of fun stuff. So I also feel like your life purpose is telling you to step into more of the Queen of Wands phase, because maybe you're a very fiery, spontaneous person, but it's about being the queen of it. And so the queen, she knows what to take on. She knows what to go for. She doesn't have like the sporadic energy anymore that, you know, goes in every single direction. She's in control of her energy, and so it's about controlling it, bringing love into all these different situations. So the Queen of Wands, like the wands are fire, they're passion, they're love, they're all this kind of stuff. But it's a different type of love than the cups. So it's about bringing passion, desire, and doing it in a way where you like attain material stuff, you attain all of this kind of stuff, and you have this prosperity that you can share. But it's about, you know, sometimes having to put yourself first instead of putting other people first. Focusing on your stuff to make your stuff grow so that you can actually have it, because once we grow our own stuff, all of a sudden we can share it to the world. But if we don't grow our own stuff first, what do we have to offer? What do we have to share? So we also have the card that says, you're already doing it, stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. So what's true to you? Face where you want to go, because once we attain all of our stuff for ourselves, we have more to give. In today's society, they always say, don't put yourself first, always think of others first. But when we do that, and we don't really have a lot in our cup yet, it's like, what do we really have to offer other people? So always put yourself first. That's what I say anyway, because the way that I look at it is, if you put yourself first and you go and fill your cup with all of these amazing things, then look what you have to share with other people who are in need, rather than sharing like a basically empty cup. Like, that's not really going to help a lot. So go fill up your cup first. Keep facing your true north. Keep facing your goals, what you want to do. Don't let people walk over you. Don't let people take advantage of you when they want to maybe take advantage of you because you are a very like loving, you know, person. But do things in a way where you're filling your cup up so much, and then share what you want to share, what you can have to share with the world. Always keep a little bit for yourself as well, so you can rebuild that cup and you have enough energy to refill your cup again. And always remember to keep refilling it when you're sharing it with other people. I think your whole purpose is to like spread happiness, spread love. I feel like you have like this ancient healing wisdom, because you have the shaman card right here, and the shamans are healers. And so I feel like you have this like healing sense about you, and you do have some like ancient wisdom, but it's about disciplining yourself enough to fill up your cup in order to share it, because I feel like you're supposed to spread around love. And in order to do so, I feel like you're somebody who is going to create a lot materially and physical things in order to kind of share this like healing love with the world. I feel like you're going to bring something physical into this world. A lot of physical stuff, but just watch for, you know, energies that might want to take advantage of you. Definitely discipline yourself and tell yourself and realize you're already doing it. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I feel like you're somebody who's figured out already what your life purpose is, whether you've actually realized it or not. You are already doing it. You are already living it, but it's about kind of realizing how to make it even stronger. And I think that's with routine, discipline, spreading that love, but only spreading it when your cup's actually really full, and putting yourself first as well, in order to give more to the world. So that is all for you, pile number 6. So what I noticed when I was reading these cards is that a lot of them were pretty similar. And the reason why I think that is because as a collective, I think everyone is here as their purpose to create this lifetime, to experience, create, and spread more creativity and energy and share energy and all that kind of stuff. I feel like everyone's life purpose is generally that. If you want to get more specific into it, I feel like it's very specific per person, but this was the general. I think it was pretty different per person, but there was a general theme of spreading you know, joy and happiness, spreading positivity, spreading love, all that kind of stuff. And so I think that's honestly everybody's life purpose. I think that's why it was the general theme as well. So just keep that in mind, like spread pure joy, spread pure happiness. You'll have your specific way of doing it, and it kind of showed a little bit about the specifics per pile, which was really awesome. But again, it's general, since this is a general reading, and I don't know how many people are going to watch this video, but there's a potential for, you know, thousands of people to watch it. So with that potential, it's like I want to keep it pretty general, that it's going to, you know, speak to everybody who generally picks that pile. So yeah, that is everything for that. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a really big thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Let me know if you guys like this view as well, because this is totally different, and I want to know if it's like easy to still pick the cards and whatever, or if you guys like the other view where it's like just cards and no face. So let me know what you guys like. Let me know if you guys like the crystals on the cards. I know one of you asked me to do that, so decided to try it out today. So thanks for the suggestion. And if you guys have any suggestions for future videos, definitely let me know that as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.